Good afternoon and welcome. And what a positive story we've got to tell, I hope. I'm going to talk a little bit about where we've come from, where our journey has been, because with all things, the honesty is not everything runs smoothly. In fact, whenever you think it is running smoothly, it's about not to. So that is the one thing as a chair that I've definitely learnt, and we've learnt how to address that. We were voted in 2008. Please note turnout 46%, not brilliant. Majority 54%. Our electorate was a little bit cynical about what a bid was going to do. We were the fifth, I think, and we weren't really understood. However, we represent 600 businesses. The split is quite interesting. 51% retail, 31% office, and 18% hospitality. And that in itself gives us a challenge because we're not looking after any one sector in the city centre. We're looking after different challenges. What became apparent, 2008 we come into existence. By 2010-11, the economic cycle has changed very dramatically. And this is where the flexibility, I think, of bids really comes into play. The board sat down and we worked out what are we going to do for our businesses to demonstrate that as a bid we are absolutely working in your favour. And we came up with essentially two things. One was how do we save you money, and secondly, how do we deliver a capital project with our major partner, which is always the council. More about that later. The result of all that is in 2013, we are successful in the renewal process, which means that there's a further £5 million at least of levy, as Ian has said, that is pure levy going into the city centre of Edinburgh over the next 5 years, or that period of 5 years. And our cornerstone of that was securing a £1 million marketing campaign. You will all know that Edinburgh has had something built in it that runs along 2 parallel rails and I think is about 17 kilometres long. Actually, we're rather proud of it now, but I'm not sure we spent the previous 5 years being very proud of it. It was important that we should reconnect our own citizens with our own city centre, and this is what this marketing campaign set out to achieve. When we talk about gearing up, to give you an idea, Essential Edinburgh and its members have put in 400,000, the council has put in 400,000, and Marketing Edinburgh put in 200,000. So we have been ratcheting this thing up. The first term, what did we do? We did many of the things which you would expect a bid in its first term to do. So we increased footfall by running events. We made the place a more beautiful, tidier place. We got an improvement in our Keep Scotland Beautiful score. We reduced crime through a checkout initiative, which is basically a flood communications network which goes to every retailer. As soon as the bad guys arrive in our patch, everyone knows about it. That in itself, you'll all understand, I'm sure, that retailers don't really want to tell you anything that's about their business. But we do know that from some of our major businesses on Princess Street, that the reduction in shoplifting in their stores was worth more to them than the cost of the levy. So these things are powerful for those people. I'm supposed to be talking a bit more about the green issue and greener places. We wanted to do up Rose Street. Rose Street is was a bit of a rat run. It wasn't particularly loved. It's very famous for having a number of hostelries which are enjoyed particularly after a dismal performance by a national team on Saturday. However, we worked with the council, we put a 2-year programme together, and we invested £300,000 each, and we have lifted that place up. There's new street lighting in the winter months. There's Christmas or winter lights along the whole length of it now for 6 weeks in the winter. And during the shoulder months, we're running events with the businesses down there. And that area is just beginning to pick up. And it's been a tremendous success story within our area. Within that capital project, it became very obvious that the thing that was really horrible about Rose Street were the bins. And this is where we got the idea that if we could help people deal with their rubbish, we could then really make the environment a better place. And so we helped them with the Zero to Landfill scheme. Eventually we signed up 200 businesses. They saved £250,000 by signing up to a scheme that made their landfill and their rubbish scheme more environmentally friendly. I'll say a little bit more about that later on. All of that gave us the confidence to be able to launch our renewal, which happened in June 2013. And we're very keen on making sure that we measure what we do, and the measurement of success, one way or another, is important. And so very quickly, what we have done is we have set ourselves a target of growing footfall in the city centre area at a 2% greater rate than the national average across the UK. Quite brave sometimes. We have set ourselves a target to improve our clean and attractive scores. And we use the Edinburgh Visitor Survey to survey people and their perception for a safer, securer, and more accessible place. So we are very keen on being measured. We like to be measured. We think it's a good thing. We do quite a lot of it. Very quickly, what do we do? Promoting the city centre. The last figures at the end of this period, we were 7.3 up on footfall, compared with minus 1.7 as a UK national average for a city centre. That's a lot of people, and that's a lot of people doing businesses in our restaurants, in our pubs, in our retailers, visiting museums and all the other things we have to offer. That's a huge success. We run events in the shoulder months. Edinburgh has this huge winter festival, as I'm sure a lot of you out there absolutely hate us for. And we have a rather big summer festival, which you probably equally hate us for, because we drag people from Scotland in. However, we have to have events either side of those, and we do those. To give you an idea, the first time we ran the Light Night in George Street, it attracted just over 24,000 people for 6 hours on a Sunday afternoon. Last year was the second time we did that, and I'm reliably informed that the footfall was up by another 4%. I'm not a sheep counter, so I can't tell you how they really come out with those figures. But it is an awful lot of people coming to the city centre to enjoy it, to enjoy a moment, and then take their families to benefit our various members. I've spoken a little bit about the marketing campaign, city centre marketing campaign, titled This is Edinburgh. Last night it won an award at the Edinburgh Chamber of Commerce Awards for an innovative approach. And really the role that we have played in that is to make sure that marketing campaign ran. And interestingly, from a bid point of view, we have been working with our fellow bids in Edinburgh, particularly Greater Grassmarket, to try and spread the largesse of where people go across the city. Clean and attractive is important. The Edinburgh Council runs a visitor survey. We spend a lot of money on flowers. We spend a lot of money keeping St Andrew's Square Garden, which has really become our heart, in good nick, and running events there. You can see the facts and the figures there for themselves. Suffice it to say that the opening up, whatever it is now, about 5 or 6 years of St Andrew's Square Gardens has been transformational, and Essential Edinburgh is responsible for running that space on behalf of the council and most particularly the private owners. Safe and secure, go back to the role of checkout, check-in for hotels, pub watch, all of these things that are designed to make the place safer. And by goodness me, someone has mentioned, I think on the film, it is important that people feel safe in a place if they're going to come back to it. And it's important for businesses to feel safe so that they are able to operate with confidence. Facilitation. A lot of time is spent, I think, by bids in the background, often not accredited for, doing little things that make a large difference. Utilities. We work with someone who's here. In fact, he's the man with the chocolates, so you might go and see him. He has helped our businesses save in excess of £200,000 on utility bills. Isn't that a success story? That is what a bid delivers for its businesses. Those businesses, in the main, are saving more than it costs them in a levy. So they're getting the footfall, the marketing, the safer, all of that for free. That's what we're trying to do. I've mentioned Castle Street, I won't go back to it. The George Street project. Sometimes you have to take a brave pill. 3 years ago, we closed one bit of George Street for the festival. It was when the whole of Princess Street was also being closed. It was when people were so fed up with what was going on in Edinburgh, they didn't want to come back. So we thought we'd close a bit more of it. It was a resounding success. It brought people back to the north side of the city. The festival in August was winning, and it was all moving south. We then closed the whole street last year. And now we have, with the council, a temporary traffic order that allows us to experiment for this for a whole period of 15 months. That is the most exciting thing that has probably happened in the city centre of Edinburgh, and it is making people think a different way about what they want their city centre to be and to do and to provide. And as a bid company, we are sitting right in the middle of that argument, driving it so it doesn't just disappear down the political scale of importance. Going very back, I'm supposed to be talking about green things. I have mentioned it somewhere, Ian. I apologise if not enough. However, I mentioned what we did in the first term, which also put our businesses in a position where they were in front of the 2012 waste regulations that came in. So they didn't have to worry about that, and they were saving money. Win-win. Happened all the way around and helped those businesses. In our second term, the success of that has meant that Edinburgh City Council is bringing in trade waste regulations, local regulations. And because we have demonstrated that we can work with the businesses, we are rolling that out within our own bid area, particularly in Rose Street. I hope Rose Street doesn't smell the way it does for any of you who might used to on a hot summer's day, because this sort of thing is making just a terrific change. One of the nice things is that the business that is providing this is a local business, employing local people. And they have been so helpful, and they've just thought outside the box. And it's the classic local solutions provided by local people reacting in a much better way than maybe a national chain can do. So in summary, we have successfully delivered our first business plan. We were fleet of foot, and we changed that plan to be more beneficial to our businesses. Bids can be flexible, and they can move quickly with their policy, unlike local government. We received a 78%. Sorry, it wasn't as good as who was at 80%. I forget who was at 80%. Well done them. We were very proud of 78% on a 54% turnout. That's an increase of 35% in accreditation from the businesses that we serve. That was fantastically important to us. And suddenly all the politicians within our city want to talk to us because we really do represent our businesses. The second term has started terrifically. You saw some of those footfall figures, the running of events. We get more confident, we run more events, they get bigger, and they benefit our members more. The last thing that we are now doing is making sure, not the last thing, one of the many things, is to make sure that the trade waste situation and how we look after waste, we are at the very forefront of what is happening within Edinburgh. I'm not going to pretend in Scotland, but it's within Edinburgh. And we are doing an awful lot of that, working with the council, saving our members time and money by taking over some of those responsibilities from them. Our council leader gave us a quote when we went up for renewal. And the quote was this: "A vibrant city centre results in a vibrant city." And we reckon we deliver a vibrant city centre. Thank you very much.